Hello, my loves, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariya. This channel is about spirituality. Please subscribe below so we can be YouTube friends. Today, I wanted to give you an update on the solar codes, the solar update. And we're also going to talk about the September equinox, so the fall equinox if you're in the northern hemisphere. As you guys well know, I am doing energy updates every month now. Those energy updates are more so factoring in the energies of Gaia, if I'm being completely honest. But with as much solar activity as we have been having for the past year or so, I'm almost wondering if it would serve the collective if I were to provide solar updates. So this is my first attempt at doing a monthly solar update. If this is interesting to you, please let me know in the comments below. If this doesn't resonate, we can drop it and move on to other types of things we can be talking about. So I would love your input. I would love your feedback on this particular topic. Now, there have been a lot of solar flares lately. There have been a lot of activity on the sun itself. It impacts the entire solar system. It obviously impacts planet Earth. It impacts every single being on planet Earth, whether from the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, or of course, humanity. So every single month, we are being impacted by the sun. The sun is going through its own transformation. I have mentioned in my other videos that the solar consciousness is shifting. Now our sun is female. And on top of the solar consciousness shifting, it's literally like a new soul has entered our local sun. And so the state of affairs within the solar system is shifting as well. Because of that, the sun is doing a lot of what I refer to as the spring cleaning. So there are a lot of codes, and the activity of the sun is going to keep intensifying in the coming decades. So should we be knowing what the sun is trying to do? I think so. I'm personally really, really curious. I love the sun. I do sun gazing all the time. I highly recommend that as a spiritual practice if you guys are not doing that yet. But let's first talk about let's actually get the big one out of the way. Let's talk about September equinox and what that means, because obviously the solstices and the equinoxes, the four events on the wheel of the year that are most sun related or most solar events are the solstices and the equinoxes. And so, of course, as we're talking about the solar codes, we cannot bypass a very important event of the September equinox. Now, that is going to hit us September 23rd. If you're on the east coast of the United States, around 2:36, I believe, a.m., so literally at night. Now, as we're talking about the energies, they're going to be present both on September 23rd and on September 24th, and usually up to a week before and a week after. These large events, they usually have like a big tail, or shall I say like a big aura around them, right? So they get started really early and then they're never really fully over for about a week. What is the difference energetically between a solstice and an equinox? A solstice always brings in new energy. So the solstice it's almost like a pendulum swung all the way one direction. Usually, the summer solstice, and I'm talking about the northern hemisphere. So I know like these solstices and can get and equinoxes, it can get pretty intense. But I will, the reason it can get pretty intense is because there are southern hemisphere, there is a northern hemisphere, and they're kind of flipped. But so usually, right, the solstice that we have in June is the pendulum swung all the way into the femininity. So usually if the feminine energies of the sun or the universe have something new to introduce to planet Earth, they will do that around June 21st, which is the time of the summer solstice. If the masculine energies have something new to introduce to planet Earth or to take away from planet Earth, that is going to be done around December 21st or whenever that winter solstice is in the northern hemisphere. The other two solar points, the equinoxes, they're usually about balancing things out. So they're the cosmic scales. So they're not always about bringing in new energies, but they're always about where are we out of balance? Whether you're talking about the March equinox, you're talking about the September equinox. They're all about the grand cosmic scales trying to be balanced and trying to even each other out. Now, that being said, every equinox is a new energy. Every equinox, something else new and different happens. So what is so special about this upcoming one in September? Here's the deal. What we are being called to do this September equinox is balance out our inner perception of who we are truly, right? Our most authentic view of who we are and our outward expression of what we do, how we show up in the outside world. Very often, especially with people who are on the spiritual path, there is this little, gap, shall we say. Sometimes the gap is quite big between who you are discovering yourself to be as you are on the spiritual path and what you're meant to do in the world. So this particular September equinox, we are going to be faced with first the question of who am I truly? Who am I meant to be? And then almost like a tug, a pull into, okay, well then be that in the world, right? So the energies that are coming through during the solar portal are all about let your authenticity shine, right? The outward expression. It could be a challenging portal for those souls and those of you that know you should be on a particular path or have gotten a calling or, just have discovered your truth, but haven't fully acted upon it yet, right? Anytime Spirit introduces us to the authenticity that is within. Anytime we're faced with a realization, an insight, an aha moment of who we are, we're faced with a choice of what to do with that information. And it is so common for us to hide and not even in the spiritual community in general, right? Like most people are not living their purpose. Most people are, because it's not safe, right? Like there's all this fear of judgment. There's all this fear about boldly stepping into who you came here to be because there are societal expectations. There are things like bills to pay, et cetera, et cetera. All these templates we have to and boxes we have to check, right? So in general, there's a lot of inauthenticity in society. Now, this equinox is coming to help set the record straight. The scales need to balance between who you think you are, who you believe you are, and how you show up and what you do. This may manifest as a calling, actually, for some of you. For some of you, the calling may become louder. Or when you need to do something, sometimes the circumstances are going to align in a way that pushes you in that particular direction. I don't know. I'll give you an example. Let's say that on your spiritual journey, you have realized that you're meant to be a healer, but you are a nurse in a hospital and you love your patients and you love people, but that is not the calling. Like maybe you are meant to do energetic healing. And the way that this particular portal can even things out for you would be you getting laid off from your job so that you could be free to spread your wings and fly in the direction that you're meant to be flying, in the direction of your authenticity, which in this case would be healing energetically, instead of being a nurse, a traditional nurse in a traditional hospital, if that makes sense. That could be an example of how the circumstances themselves can push you towards your path. Now, granted, one of the harder things to do, right, is like knowing what you came here to do and doing it are not the same thing, right? Like sometimes stepping on that path takes everything you have and more. So what I urge you to do during the time of this fall equinox is ask yourself, how can I take the baby steps? How can I take that first step towards being on my path, towards doing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, towards living into my blueprint? Maybe don't go all the way. Don't go from 0 to 100. Go from 0 to 1, and you can find the road unfolds by walking, right? So you cannot know what your step 39 is before you take step 1. And so a part of this cosmic energy that is coming through is the energy of trust. Trusting the universe, trusting that the universe has a plan, that frankly, your higher self has a plan, and taking that first step. So the energies that are coming through is a little bit of that leap of faith, like taking that first step, the courage that it takes to do the things that you know in your heart of hearts that you need to do. So these are the energies of that portal. Now, if you're looking for like a quick meditation to do the day of the September equinox, imagine yourself in a meditative state. Close your eyes and imagine that there are like a set of scales, right? On one set of scales, put all of your talents, right? And on the other set of scales, put things that you're meant to do in the world and meant to become, right? And if the part of the scale that is measuring what you're meant to become feels heavier than the skill set scale that you have, then essentially open up a portal right above the side of the scale that measures your talents, and imagine that you are absorbing from that portal, or rather that side of the scale is absorbing from that portal all of your talents, all of your hidden talents from past lives and your higher self and, just the universe. And make sure that you keep absorbing so that part of the scale becomes heavier until it evens out with what you're meant to be. So part of this is a claiming. Part of this is the taking and accepting about yourself everything that you know you truly are. And as opposed to rejecting some of your strength, some of your power, some of the things that you used to do in past lives because the going is too scary, or because maybe you don't believe that what's coming through the grapevine is real. So that is the exercise that I would propose. But going back to my solar update, what are some of the other things? And again, there are going to be a lot of days in the month of September. And by the way, I'm doing this mostly for September and early October solar update, right? So the month of September and early October, and maybe September 15th through October 15th. Let's kind of set that straight. So what are the solar codes additionally on top of what I just mentioned that are coming through? The sun is currently upgrading the plant kingdom of planet Earth. That means that the plants, the healing herbs, are becoming more and more potent. There is a big flushing out of the karma from the plant kingdom. You guys may be surprised to know there is karma at the plant level as well. So a lot of the plants are getting their second rebirth. A lot of the plants of light, a lot of the herbs of light are getting their second rebirth. So what are some of the things that could be really, really good for you to do during this window, September 15th through October 15th, is drinking herbal teas and infusions, but intentionally sending thanks to Gaia as you drink, and imagining how the sun is infusing your cup with whichever herbs that you're drinking, or whatever herbal tea, whether that is chamomile, whether that is mint. Imagining that the solar codes are literally penetrating your cup and the water in it, and they're infusing your herbs with, you can think of it as new earth codes or 5D codes if that feels better to you guys. But the plant kingdom is going through a big overhaul. So the more you can eat raw fruits and vegetables during this period, the better you're going to feel, because it's almost like you need to tune your body up to the new vibrations that are coming through the plant kingdom. You may also want to, if you can go in nature, by the way, into the forests. The trees are also getting a big upgrade. So you may want to hug the trees, connect to the energy of the trees, because a lot of solar codes are coming through the trees as well. And you would notice that the trees are able to replenish your energy resource or donate a particular healing vibration to you even more so than they normally would. It's because it's like their potency level is going up. Our plant kingdom is going to become 10 times more potent, 10 times more magical, call it, in the coming years. And a lot of these codes are coming through right now. So if you think you're having it hard, oh my God, you guys, the plant kingdom is going through an upheaval. Does that mean that certain plant species are not going to survive? Unfortunately, yes. Now, that's a process. That's not an overnight thing. But certain plants that are not here for the next evolutionary journey are going to go extinct. And unfortunately, that is just the name of the game. What are some of the other things that the sun is sending? As far as humanity, the sun is sending 2 color codes in that 30-day frame, September 15th through October 15th. The red codes and the emerald codes. The red codes are the root chakra, specifically the energies of courage and the energy of courageous fire. So if you have been feeling stuck If you have been feeling afraid of something, if you have been feeling like there is not enough fire under your belly to do something, this is your golden opportunity to receive the energies, the red spectrum from the sun. Literally allow, like imagine like a red laser beam hitting your head and like streaming down straight into the root center, the root chakra at the base of your spine, and fueling it with that, like almost like would ignite it with a red fire. And that is the fire of courage. So allow it to build there. So allow that fire to accumulate. The second type of energy that is coming through is the energy of emerald, which is actually connected to the plant kingdom also. The specific energy of emerald is the energy of healing that is hitting us during this period from the sun. So if you can receive the energy of the emerald spectrum straight into your heart space and send that energy to a part of your body that requires healing. Specifically, I'm talking about physical healing. There's emotional healing, there's mental healing, there's energy healing, there's physical healing. This particular ray hits the physical body. So send it into whichever, whether that's acute pain, whether that is chronic pain, whether that is in between pain, whether you don't know what kind of pain it is, it just hurts. Send those emerald energies, first receive them into your heart space, and then distribute them to parts of your body that require healing. And those are the main energies from the sun. This is what the sun is busy doing. Please let me know in the comments if you guys find it helpful at all. And if you've been feeling the same, frankly, because I know a lot of you are super, super sensitive and I would love to exchange notes. I'm giving you a big virtual hug. Thank you for tuning in and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, loves.